gentlemen and women. Once again, we meet in the hallowed chamber to discuss philosophy. Today, we all are going to participate in Socrates' talk on the topic atheism and theism. No, you are not going to be just a passive listener, but participate in the talks as an equal member, not just as a passive listener. I guess most or even all of us are theists, right? So why this topic? Why not say evils of capitalism or casteism in modern India? So I guess you need to understand first what is atheism and theism is. Atheism is one thing, a lack of belief in God. Say atheism is not an affirmative belief. It doesn't say that God is there. It clearly believes that they do not believe in God and is denied the lack of belief of God. Older dictionaries define atheism as a belief that there is no God. Clearly, theist influences tame these definitions. The fact that dictionaries define atheism as there is no God retains the monistic influence. Without the monotheistic influence, the definition would at least read there are no gods. Atheism is not a belief system, nor is a religion. However, I just mentioned there is no gods and there are no gods. Many of you must be wondering what is the difference. So that there is no God means there is just only one God. Like Christians believe in one God, Jews believe in Allah, while the Muslims believe in Allah. However, the pagan religions there are multiple of gods. So it says that the monotheistic influence has betrayed these dictionaries. While there are some religions that are atheistic. For example, Buddhism. It doesn't even say there is a God. A Buddhist in India worships Hindu gods. A Buddhist in China worships Hindu gods. While a same Buddhist in Japan will worship the Japanese local gods. So to put it in a more humorous way, if atheism is a religion, then not collecting stamp is a hobby. Despite the fact that atheism is not a religion, atheism is protected with the same constitutional rights that religion. That is, you cannot discriminate against atheist people because just of their beliefs. This doesn't mean that you can't talk, you must talk to them or you must hire them. However, it just says that them being atheists should not be a barrier in their getting the normal rights of citizen. That, however, does not mean that Islam is itself a religion. Only that our censorily held lack of beliefs are protected in the same ways as religious beliefs of others. Now, what is theism? Theism is broadly defined as the belief in existence of at least one deity, or many more. For example, we Hindus, I guess most of our arts the same, have more than 33 gods. The Muslims have Allah, then the Christians have the Trinity God, the Father, then there is who is the Father, the All-Father, Almighty Father. Then there is the Son of the Son, who is also known as Jews. And then in common parallels, when contrasted with deism. Now, deism is when there are two gods. One is the evil, another is the good. Like the Parsis, they have a belief of two types of God. One whose rule is that he must uphold order, while the other uphold cause. The term often defines the classical conception of God as found in monotheism. A God found in pluralistic religion, a belief in God, a God without a rejection of revelation as a characteristic of deism. Then there are also subtypes of theism like agnosticism, etc. However, I'm not going to focus on that because it's such a vast topic that even if you study for years and years, you will never get the grasp of this. Now, the topic is about 0.2% of India, that is, say, like a million or somewhat, is atheist. But the same is 20 to 30% for developed nations like the United States, United Kingdom, or even Japan and China also. So is atheism related to growth and theism to backwardness? Like India is still a non-developing, we are still a developing country, an emerging country that is, but still a developing country, where there are millions and millions of poor people. So is it because of belief in God, or is it something like that we have been colonized and something like that? Or maybe atheism is related to isolation, social issues like high risk of suicide, murder rates, gun violence rates, etc. Now, in those countries, right, it is almost 5 to 6 times there compared to India, despite us having a much larger population. Before we start the talks, here are the rules. Each one of you gets 5 minutes, maximum 5 minutes, to state your case either against theism or for theism. You should not include any disparaging comments against the social, ethnic, or religious groups. You will get uninterrupted time for speech time. However, after that, you must answer the question from satisfactory record to your best abilities. Now, the talks will proceed in a clockwise direction, that is from the first participant down here.
So, as my previous speaker kind of stated, a lot of things about philosophy and then about theism, and So for me, my point of view says that I would like to state my points in favor of theism, as I believe that for your mental satisfaction, if there is someone who could you relate, who is demanding nothing from you, but you could demand whatever you want in the world from him, I think so it provides you mental satisfaction and nothing else can. And thus the existence of a deity which is in this current world, that same figure which I talked about, is quite important. But also I would just like to say from the presentation Kanish gave just 2 minutes ago, that a lot of misconceptions are spread about atheism or eartheism, that it is the belief of not existence of gods, which is absolutely not right, because it believes in the
Theism is kind of state, a bargain with God. Isn't it something you should be aghast? Like the first thing our parents teach us, moral values. You should never bargain with a weak, or you should never do just for the sake of bargaining. You should support someone because he's a good person, not because he gives you something.
You never, first of all, bargaining is a term which is not suitable, because you only bargain when there's a price set by someone. God never sets a price for someone. If you demand something from them, they never say that, oh, we need such a price or such a sacrifice from you for doing this. So when you demand something without any demand from the opposite side, it's just a requirement. It's just a need. It may not be very necessary, but at last it will give you satisfaction, because you still have hope that I have told someone. Because if you have something which no one else can help you with, and you still can believe that there's someone who can help you with this, then it actually is very necessary in this world, with the amount of stress people have nowadays.
So anyone else has a question?
You told that America has.
No, some are not mine. You can ask. You can also ask me if you want.
You told that America has more atheist people.
Yeah.
But as I totally agree with you, as atheist people have 6 points higher IQ than the non-atheist people. Can you clarify this?
See, the IQ rate is based for Europe and USA. True, the average rate of USA and Europe are much higher than India or any African countries. But if you take it just for India, just for East Asia, then the rate just declines, because I guess the IQ rate of Africa declines the whole group for a theism. Most of Africa is theist; they believe in God, and their IQ is not as high as the East Europeans, Indians, or Americans. If you just take the East Asians, you must agree that even all the high IQ posts in the USA and Europe are taken by either the East Asians, Chinese, and Japanese, the Philippines, or the Indians. So this must mean that we can compete with them. And again, the IQ thing. The IQ thing was first was made by a British. And not saying that this is rational. However, if I make something, I will of course mean that it supports my country and it make my people better, not that it make other people better. So there may or may not be some technical biases in the area. Next. Anyone else has a question?
Question on the answer.
So, you were saying that theism is nothing more than a simple belief in God, that He will be here to answer my prayers and that He will give. It's a simple belief.
He will not be there to answer your prayers, but there will be someone which you hope would hear your prayers.
Which you would hope to hear.
So that gives you a feeling of security. That if there's no one else in the world, there's still someone there. If there is no sense of security there, then you will, once you're rejected by people, which is very probable nowadays in today's world, so you have no hope left. So that provides a source of hope.
I agree that this is very it's very helpful in today's date, and I've seen people who have gained a lot from it. But would you not agree on the fact that this also opens a possibility for a lot of, as we see nowadays, religious crimes and wars against other religions, and also other forms of malpractice? As we know, over time, when even the most simplest form of sentence is passed down from generation to generation, its meaning changes, right? So, would it not be, like, as we know, a lot of people on this earth are illiterate and uneducated, right? They can interpret religion in ways it was never meant to be, right? So, would it not be scientifically better and smarter for us to take a much more logical and backed way of combating this.
What I believe is, let's take a simple example. Let's take a machine which counts notes. If someone uses a machine which counts notes, and repetitively it is being seen that the amount of notes which are being put in or being given by the customer, it does not match with that amount. There's always 5 to 4 notes less. So when the machine is checked, it is seen that the machine is working fine. So that implies the problem is not neither in the machine, neither in the customer. The problem is in the middle. The ones who take the notes and the ones who put the notes in the machine. If they are doing it intentionally or unintentionally, we don't know. But there's some other mistake being done by the ones who are taking notes in the machine. Similarly, no religion in the world teaches you to do something wrong. As no religion teaches to do something wrong, so thus it can be clearly seen that if someone is doing something wrong, it is on his own basis. What can be, for example, if there's no religion, let us believe that there's no belief in existence of God, and absolute atheism is believed, then there will be further chances that if there's no means, you can say there's nothing taught to you in the sense of religion from your beginning. So you have no morals, you're only being taught what you're being taught by your parents as habits. So at last when you grow, you'll obviously ponder, so if there's nothing like religion, you could do those similar activities on the name of something else. So until and unless the source is defected, you can't say the source is causing the problem. If the source is defected, then you can say, the source is causing the problem. But if the source is not defected, the problem can be caused by anything. There's no benefit in removing religion or stopping theism, I think.
I'm assuming you are an atheist. Then there was a research.
You can't just question him. First, everyone gets a chance to speak.
I think it would be much more interesting that
Yeah, then.
like in an open conversation.
If you want, if you are admitted, then rules can be changed.
There was a why is that? There was a few research organization which conducted a survey in 24 countries, which stated that the people who believe in God, who are theists, are generally happier. 75% of the population are happier than compared to people who are atheist.
Well, I believe that can also be led that there are multiple causes. There can be multiple causes for it, because firstly, when we see in a specific setting that hedonism in any form is leading people to be much happier than they were without it, it may be because these people, they have found unexplainable, or rather, as I said, hedonistic hope in the idea of a God. Maybe if they were given much better psychological, we have this topic in our, I don't know, 4th or 3rd chapter in psychology of child development. As I was studying about that chapter, I felt and I saw that in our day-to-day life, there are a lot of things that we as humans might consider to be okay, but they really mess up the child's mind over time. It may just come down to the fact that we have taken theism as a sort of band-aid to fix something which could have been avoided as a whole if proper care was given to those kids.
Right. So I wanted to comment on something Yuvraj said, right? Then I'll continue with my speech. It's just it's not a refusal, right? So just because the IQ points are higher of a certain ethnical group, that doesn't make them more intelligent. This is a difference between causation and correlation. So I'll explain what that is very simply. Correlation is like when someone takes tuitions, they get more marks. But did those tuitions cause him to get more marks? I think the answer to that is no, right? But if I punch that wall with a very strong hammer, it will break. So me punching that wall caused the wall to break. This is the difference between correlation and causation. So the ethnic groups IQ points being higher is just correlatory. It doesn't make them more intelligent, right? So this is not a refusal. I agree that their IQ points are higher, as statistics says. Statistics on that. Now I'd like to start with my speech. So ever since Greek times, there has been two schools of thoughts, right? There's been atheism, there's been theism. All of you know what that means, right? there's a little bit of debate on what atheism means, like he said. Some people think it means like a complete lack of belief in God, and some people think it means like a lack of the lack of belief in God. That makes sense, right? So I'm not going to talk about these. My personal opinion is that there are so many points of discussion in atheism and theism that you have to take a middle point. For example, if you discuss atheism, it has the problem of evil. Why does suffering exist? The problem of animal suffering. Why does God allow animals to just be eaten alive the way they are? Right? And in theism, there are so many arguing points. Some religions think that the books serve as evidence. Right? So I feel that you should take a middle point between theism and atheism called agnosticism. So basically, agnosticism states that I lack a belief in theism, I lack a belief in atheism, and I think if you believe in any of those two, you're wrong. You should wait for more empirical evidence to come, or you should take a point, and when you take that point, you realize that you are probably wrong. This is what agnosticism is, and that's why I believe in agnosticism.
Anyone has a question on the gym? Anyone?
I simply agree.
Yeah. So I guess no other questions, so we can continue with third
I can
speaker.
continue. So I personally believe theism is important in one's life. People need hope in their life. This hope can be different for different people. People have different hardships in their life, and without hope, it will be much more difficult for them to continue. So there is someone beyond our existence that we can rely upon. Theism was never supposed to come in the path of science. It is popular to compare science and theism, and people believe that theists are not as intelligent as atheists, and atheists are all scientists. But I believe it's wrong, and theism never has to come in between in the way of science.
Suited to what Aliti said? Speak.
As you said, people need hope in life, and if you look at history, kingship came before divine knowledge or theory. So you can say that family can also give the happiness and hope you want in life, which you said theism gives.
I believe that not all people share the same relation with their family. Some are much more lonely and don't receive the same amount of support that theism could give them. Believing because the godly being that you believe in, it's something that you can shape their personality.
Okay, so I will speak. Now, many of us think that atheism and theism, many of us relate theism to everything the world is wrong with. Violence, it is theism. Then, criminality, it is theism. Unmorality, it is theism. Rapes, murders, everything else, it is theism. However, we all remember who Stalin is. He killed 20 million people, or that is more than 20% of the Russian population at the time. I am speaking about not just Russia, USSR, or almost more than 10% of the world. He was not a theist, he was an atheist. He was the biggest atheist. We didn't talk about Mao, the Chinese dictator who killed about 60 to 70 millions. He was not a theist, he was an atheist. We didn't talk about Hitler. He didn't respect a religion. So he used the churches for his benefit, but he was not a theist. He respected atheism. He contributed religion as contributed religion as the opium of masses. Karl Marx said, religion is the opium of masses, and it is used to keep poor people poorer and rich people richer. However, just say, take the belief. The richest people in India are religious, and the poorest are religious. If we take away religion, then what gives us the dignity to live? Every person, even how rich he is, he wants more. He is not content in his life, but religion gives us a belief that we have something greater than just living. We are passing on, and we are a great being. We are a great human being, and God, they give us the belief that we need. This is a common saying. Every atheist becomes a theist when he's in time of need. Every atheist becomes a theist when he goes to hospital, when he goes to police station. We just use religion when we need it. Even, I'm not just pointing at my theist friends. Most of my theist friends. How many times have you thanked God if something great has happened to you? How many times one of you has thanked God when you get good marks in exam, or when you ask something and you had it? No one. In reality, we are just atheists who tries to become theist. We never try to learn what religion is. Religion never says kill. It never says kill your own people. Even the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, it always says the world is the one family. Vasudekam Kutumbakam. But still, yeah, we have fringes. We have the fringe elements. The ISIS, the KKK in USA, in India also many fringe groups. However, it doesn't define a religion. Just as a single atheist doesn't define the whole atheism, the single religion doesn't define single religious group doesn't define the whole religious beings. Now, as my friend Yuvraj said something along the lines of IQ. I mean, Riyaz has this part disapproved it, and even I disapproved it. But it just shows how great theist theist propaganda is, atheist propaganda is, that we believe even non-proof evidence and we take it as evidence. There is no empirical study to say that atheism is related to higher IQ. Everyone knows about, I guess, Poland. Poland is a religious country. It's heavily religious. They are the Orthodox Church leader is sometimes more popular than the PM. But it's a developed country. China. Atheism in China was forced by Mao. It was not voluntary. Japan, when it became the first and stronger, it was religious. Now, atheism has many good qualities. Like it says that we should respect all human beings, just not because they are our own people, that they are my own kids, they are my religious group, but just because they are human. This is a great thing. Like, also, we can't differentiate all religions as one thing, we can't integrate all religions as one people. There are agnostic atheists who does not believe in any God. Then there are some atheists who believe in gods, but say that they are like the Jains. They say that they believe in gods, but gods are just a part of the nature and they are not much stronger. Anyone has a point to refute? Okay.
You mentioned about the fact that God or any religion does not teach us to kill anyone or force us to actually take anyone's lives. But there are a lot of religions that actually promote the idea of sacrificing animals. So how do you try that?
Animals. I guess you are a vegetarian. How does the point stand? Even when you yourself.
So,
See,
just because.
just say someone is vegetarian and they have the same belief. Now you all eat plants. We can't live on plants. Anyone like these? Doesn't plants have feelings? They also have feelings. Yeah, they have it. Recent research has shown that plants cry out when they are cut, and they tell the breakers around the world that they are being destroyed. So we should eat plant then. Animals. And even religion says, like the Bhagavad Gita says, you should treat animals good. You should only kill animals for the purpose of food, never for pleasure. Now, I guess Bible must also have something along these lines.
Yeah, so I felt like your point was very similar to this in the fact that you're choosing causation, you're confusing between the causation and correlation. Like you said in the examples of Hitler, Stalin, and so many other dictators which have caused a lot of war crimes. Do you feel that being atheist was only or even remotely the major reason why they did it? I mean, in the case of Hitler, I read about it. It was mostly because of his. It was mostly because of the World War I, in which he felt that Jews were the one who caused the loss for the Germany. And then again, another point I had on what she said over how most religions disapprove of killing. I felt the point you use against her would be valid if you said something like, yeah, if you have to eat in specific cases such as the tiger, which only has the small intestine capacity to digest meat, then I suppose, yeah, you have no other choice except to kill for eating. But in most sacrifices, how was the killing of an animal even remotely necessary? I feel if in those situations atheism was followed,
Okay, I get your question. In essence, it says atheism doesn't approve of killing. Theism approves of killing, and there are certain rituals which itself that killing should be done. Now, how many of you know about jhatka method of killing? It says that the whole artery should be chopped off. It clearly says that the animal doesn't feel any pain in there. Now, Even the halal method is also there, it says the same thing. And I agree that there are some inherent flaws. But every system has a flaw. We just can't say the whole thing is a fault because there's one tiny problem with a single thing. And even these rituals have now disappeared. How many in India kill animals? How many in India, the majority of Indians, how many of them kill animals just for a ritual? I guess it is banned also. So yeah, we should improve. However, it is not that all religions are bad or the whole religious thing is just a propaganda made by people to control the world. I don't think it's a real. And I guess Rehan's also had to speak.
Right. You guys seem to have a misconception here. So I don't have much knowledge about the major religious books, right? But in the three main ones that I have a little bit of knowledge of which I have read the verses, all of them say that you will not kill, and if you do, you go straight to their hell. Which religion tells you to kill people? Because I'm not aware of any religious book or religion, minor as it may be, that tells you to kill people on any cause, whether they kill your family or anything.
Just actually slaughter the
Right? Most we talk about killing people.
What about Sandeep?
I was only
What
talking
about
about
Sandeep?
that.
Wait.
Just Sati was like.
Everybody spoke with yes.
Basically, Sati was not practiced because religious purposes. It had a total different aspect in the starting. Basically, what really happened, used to happen was the females. Basically, there were like kingdoms and empires in the starting and early stages, right? So, basically the widows, right? What really used to happen that the kings or the emperors of different kingdoms used to, some people used to even migrate and stuff, but most of them were like the like sexual harassment practices and basically rape practices were like really common at that time, especially by the they used to make prostitution, and they used to make the like females who were like widows and stuff mostly like they used to drag them into the area of sex slave and stuff, which was basically that was one of the main cause why that thing started, because the families didn't want their the daughter-in-law.
Okay, so I get everyone does the point. Anyone else? So we can guess to the next speaker, Ishita.
Yeah, I will go for theism because I think it completely depends upon the person to believe in atheism.
Can you make your voice a little louder?
Yeah, of course. I will go for theism because I think it completely depends upon the person to go for atheism or theism. It completely depends upon yourself to believe in God or not to believe in God. Like for example, somebody who believes in God might not believe in God after something happened to him and God feels like God doesn't support him or her, and someone like you get good marks and you thank God. Then if you go on, it's your own hard work. So if you go on, you believe in God. I think that's what theism.
Okay, so Aditi, your chance.
Okay. I'll go for theism, as if you study sociology, there's a term called primary group, and religion very much comes under the primary group. Primary group, you can say that, for example, family, you have face-to-face interaction with the family, you have mutual trust on them, etc. That's what a primary group is about. And it also provides us happiness too. And that's about it.
Okay, so basically I became an atheist ever since I started to experience some unfortunate experiences in my life. While I was a theist, I just saw the world from a very small perspective, a perspective of my religion, right? That was not just one experience, that's why I became an atheist, but many experiences, right? So I would say that as I became, I started to go towards that view. I just saw the world from a more rational and I would say just a rational perspective, right? Because I think in India, especially in India, right, I would not say like all families, but I think majority, as what I have seen, that the families, the child of the family, right? The family leads the child into that kind of situation or state where the child only like kind of sees what the family is practicing or following, rather than, you know, like all religions, that the schools in India don't even give the knowledge or, you know, about the different religions, the ideologies, which kind of puts that child into a very blind view, and later on the child, like, they just see that, yeah, my family has been doing all this and that, and they just think that is right, and they kind of I would say that's a very, I would not say that it's a bad thing, but I think you should see the main causes in India of all these riots, the communal riots and all the political fights, is mainly because of this thing, the blind view. The people don't have knowledge about different religions, rather they focus on one religion, and that is the main cause, which is like kind of downfall for the whole country.
Okay. Anyone needs to refute? Yeah.
I don't have a refusal, but I want to say something that you reminded me of. So, you know the points of families that you talked about?
Yeah.
There's a very
Can you little make your voice a little louder?
there's a very important quote that I'd like to state here. Theists are atheists, but they believe in one God, right? So in any monotheistic religion, right? If you believe in Jesus, you are an atheist for the Islamic God. You are an atheist for all the Hindu gods, right? So atheists so the theists just go one step farther than the atheists do, and it's a very funny joke about and a person who believes in Islam and a person who believes in Jesus, they go to a bar, right? So the person who believes in Islam says, "You're going to my hell." Person who goes to a Christian person says, "You're going to my hell." Then a Hindu boy walks in and he says, "Which hell am I going to?" Right? I find this joke very funny, and it really emphasizes the point that even if you believe in theism, that doesn't mean you're not going to hell according to other religions. Right? So you shouldn't believe in theism because you're afraid of hell. And I'd like to reinforce that family.
Yeah. So I guess what you have to do was extraordinarily wonderful. Now anyone wants to speak while I'm speaking? Spoken? I guess do it if you want, because you are one of the biggest, I guess, supporters for the atheism.
Well, I suppose after Riyansh spoke, I was reminded by my own few morals which I have in my life about not really following any extremist group. I have begun to also support his point on how we should find the middle ground between atheism and theism. Though if I could, I can comment on some of the points I heard today in this debate.
Shamuli, do you want to? Do you have any points on your mind? You don't speak anything because it's almost an informal grouping. So if you want, go and add a bigger fun or something like that.
Can I question something on what Nav has said?
Of course.
He
Just before
mentioned-
Shampoo, you question me, I just want to say 3 things from the entire debate. I found absolutely wrong. First of all, as I stated in the beginning, the data about US and Europe for the more number of literate people in atheism, and then we talk about Africa, where the number states that there are more number of illiterate people, but they are theists. That's popular theists. So what I see here is that there are, to judge a certain criteria, to judge a certain thing, a section, you need certain criteria. And I believe right now, in today's world, you cannot rate theism or atheism, even in the most extreme of situations, in the top 5 criteria for judging literacy or judging any other related sections. Because it is like saying that if we want to compare, for example, let us say we want to compare 2 A4 size papers. One is folded into half, one is folded into 4 parts. So you will not compare them on the basis of which factory did they come from, because that does not matter to you. It is not of your utility. So similarly, as you see, the data is from Africa and from US and Europe, We obviously know there are a lot of economical differences, differences in resources, and other various differences of their histories. Therefore, I believe currently, at least right now in this world, the main topics of theism and atheism of today's debate are not certain criteria on which you can judge these data. Second of all, as they talked about the killing of animals in religions, I just want, Ganesh, can you please go back to that map? The map? Okay. So nowadays,
This one.
thanks. So nowadays, many people believe till date that religion tells us to kill animals. So first of all, I do not believe that killing of animals is absolutely wrong, because if you see evolution, you can discuss it somewhere else, but when you see evolution, you will see that everything is artificial. The wheat you eat, the banana you eat, any other fruit you eat, any other vegetable you eat, everything is artificial. And we think that we have developed these vegetables, but the truth is they have developed us. We do whatever they want us to. So similarly, as you can see in this map, the most number of atheist people in the entire world is in China. It is approximately 50% of the country's population. Now I agree that a lot of means China's population is the largest in the world, almost similar to India. But as you can see, there are approximately 8 to 10% atheists in India, which accounts to a very less amount of people. Whereas in China, there is 50% of atheists. But since the last 3 years, China has a 27% increase in the data of animal slaughtering and cattle slaughters. So I don't understand how does atheism or theism relate to animal killing. So if it relates to, then why does China with 50% unatheist people have an animal slaughter rates higher with a percentage of 27 than any other nation in the world?
I feel like that can be dated back to their history when they were also following their own religion, which was Buddhism. I think it does. I feel like it can be dated back more because of their past. They have been experimenting with this since a very long time, and I think that's more of a factor in this than the actual.
But what I feel is that none of the aspects in China's history taught them to do whatever they did. They evolved. It's simple. They evolved as if that they want to eat or they want to use those animals as their source of nutrition. It's their choice. So that is what I was saying, that when people say that it is because of religion, that does not correspond, because it should be different. It is according to human needs. After everything, at last, whatever human needs and whatever human requires, they do. But when they start the process, the thing they require actually develops them. They don't develop that thing. For example, if we just about wheat, around 2700 BC, wheat was just a plant used as grass. But then people somehow realized that wheat could be eaten by other organisms, so they could feed on them too. Then people start thinking that we developed wheat. But that was never the case. Wheat develops us.
We want to speak more. I guess, Shambhavi has a few thoughts of mine, so to speak.
Can I refute first?
Wait, you can wait for 2 minutes.
I might lose the point.
You can do it.
So, I feel like there might be a misconception of what I was trying to say when I correlated theism with the animal slaughter. I wasn't trying to point out on the factor of using animal as a form of nutrition. I was talking about the unnecessary slaughter of animals for sacrificial rituals, which, as we know, have definitely evolved from religion. What I feel was if you are eating an animal for nutrition, which I must say is valid and granted for in some situations, I feel like the killing of an animal, it is more or less dependent on your own state of mind, whether you can comprehend the fact of whether the animal is feeling pain or not. I feel it's much more dependent on that. And the point I was trying to make. The point I was trying to make was this false hope of the killing of that animal will give me something that I desire. I feel that drives people to kill them, and which overrules their moral sense of pain of their animal.
Just a simple thought. If you will be asked that what are the living organisms on this earth, so you will state humans, animals and plants. Nothing else, I suppose. So, fine.
Initially, you mentioned about the fact that God do not.
Can you increase your voice a bit?
Initially, you mentioned about the fact that gods do not want anything from us in a demand. They do not demand anything in return. If you do this for me, and then only I'll grant your wishes. You mentioned about it. But there are a lot of malpractices which involve about the fact that people have to fast or engage in a lot of activities because of which they believe that if we do this certain thing only and only then God will help us. So what are your opinions about that?
It's a simple thought. For example, someone has thyroid. They still do the regular exercise in the hope they lessen the weight. That's a simple thought. But due to their medical conditions, they're not able to do so. So similarly, if someone has a thought that the religion teaches them to fast on certain days, which will help them fulfill the wishes they have, which they make to their respective gods or deities, does not relate to the point that the malpractices are happening in the same way. For example, as I stated, or the thyroid point, if someone has severe thyroid, he can do as much exercise as he wants. But if he does not take thyroid medicines, which usually contains steroids, he would not be able to survive. And at last, those steroids will obviously cause weight gain. So therefore, he could say that I was doing my exercise to reduce my weight, but it did not happen. So people could call this malpractice. It would not be called because it is effort. So similarly, if something is written somewhere and then he does it, people think that it is a malpractice or they are being influenced to do so. But at last, it is your choice. If someone does taking something from a reference, then it is their choice. What if someone comes today and says something absolutely new and says, I will do this to prove my support, or to prove my praise, that my prayers will be heard by God. So that does not correspond to the point at what reference you take, it corresponds to the point what you believe. Like I, myself, as I said, I am atheist, but I never fast. So it does not correspond to I fast. For example, if someone does not believe in atheism and is an atheist, but still he could do practices for his friends or family which are illogical or unnecessary. So there will be no reference there. So therefore the reference will not be, means you will not say the reference is the problem, you will say the person is the problem. But since your reference exists, the reference is always said that the reference is the problem. But I don't believe it, because the reference is just there. No one forces you to take the reference and follow what is written in the reference.
It's not a thing. It's not a thing if that's what you're asking. It is not a term or a concept that is useful to anyone except those who live lives with the concept of God serving essential rules. People who do not live such lives, who do not see the importance of the concept of gods, who find no need or relevance for gods in their lives, are considered threats to many of those who do need their gods. Many of the people who have made the concept of gods central to their lives find it convenient to live with those whom they see as threats, to reduce them to a category, to depersonalize them.
But it's not a thing, if that's what I'm asking. It's not a term or a concept that is useful to anyone, except those who live life with the concept of gods serving essential roles. People who do not live such lives, who do not see the importance of the concept of gods, who find no need or relevance for gods in their lives. A concept threats many of those people who have made a concept of God central to their lives find it convenient to live alone. Then we need to call the babies of lives, because they don't fly. As for the breakdown of atheism, people consistently get this wrong in a subtle but very important way. Atheism is nothing, zero, nada, do it and believe. The prefix means without, does not mean not. And atheists would really want to make use of the term means without God. It refers to people who live their lives without reference to God. They don't have gods in their lives. So it clears, so what he said clears many of the concepts regarding what we have atheism, like they do not believe any God, or they are against the atheism and anything else. Anyone who wants to speak on any topic, okay, you have something to speak.
And just before you refuted, I was speaking something, and as you said, it's about the desire. You feel that the animal's pain lets you have your desire filled. So I was just speaking about that. What do you consider living organisms on this earth? Which species? Humans, plants, animals, or any other species?
I feel in the biological terms, that would be very controversial, the term living, because of the existence of viruses and whatnot. But like, if you ask me from my personal opinion on what life is, I feel like it cannot be described perfectly. I feel, as a matter of personal opinion, that life, as we find in ourselves, in human beings, our existence is nothing more than a certain circuit.
Can you speak a little louder, please?
Our existence is more or less like that of a circuit. Blood flows through us and our brain sends the brain sends nervous impulses throughout our body and our senses react to our environment, which acts as a stimulus. I feel like life in itself is a simple exchange of information to and fro from the body. I feel like there's no real definition of a soul or anything. No real existence.
So I was speaking, so just let us simply state the fact that, so when we take the case of plants, so would you consider when we use plants for our nutrition, will you consider killing them, that killing plants, or will you consider that harvesting plants? Simple
I
question.
feel like as first Ganesh stated, I wish to modify that a little bit. I read the study as well. Plants do show pain and they show a specific reaction to us plucking leaves or cutting off branches from it. But plants do not show emotions such as happiness or sadness. I feel like when we kill a plant, they will not nearly show the same reactions of us as when we kill a dog or kill a cat. Right? Now, like I said, in specific situations, even the killing of animals, for example, when we have to eat them, it is granted. Tigers cannot digest plants, they have to kill animals to eat them. I feel like in those situations, it is totally granted for. And in the same way, the harvesting of plants to eat them is again completely justified. But I feel the unnecessary killing of animals in the hope that we might gain something from them just by sacrificing them.
Life, you want to be something more. Right now, you will be thinking, if I just pass my examinations, that's good enough. But the moment you pass, you know it's meaningless. You want to find a job. The moment you find a job, you know that's meaningless. You want something else. It just goes on like this. Doesn't matter where you are, you want to be something more. So to address this longing for a human being to continuously expand, people have found various kinds of solutions. These solutions over a period of time have gotten concocted into all kinds of philosophies, ideologies, belief systems, and become a variety of what you may say as religion. But essentially it is this longing that people want to expand. They don't know how. And each one finds their own way. Now today's way is, your idea of expansion is how many followers you got on the Facebook or Instagram. You have 1,000, you want 10,000, you have 10,000, you want 10. Well, that's your way, that's your religion right now. You need to understand.
So yeah, this closes how all religions are in truthful. And I guess the ending of the discussion is that atheism and theism both are equals in some measures and both are right. Nothing to be afraid of, or nothing to feel, nothing to threaten someone to, or nothing to be threatened of. So I guess we can close the discussions.